Alright, class, let's continue. So, the next step would be to actually create your interface. So to create your interface, we are going to add custom attributes to a specified object. In this case, our specified object is the master head control. So with the master head control in place, you can look at the channel box right there, and there are certain attributes that you'll never animate and you'll never change. So in this case, it's scale X, scale Y, scale Z, and visibility. So with those selected, I'm going to go to channels and then lock and hide selected. Alright, so it removes those channels from being animated. We're going to create several new channels so that we can actually start animating our head well. So click on channels, click on add attribute, and the add attribute panel will pop out. So the first thing is the O by scene. So let's do the E by scene first. E by scene.
Can I also underscore?
You can't do spaces, so in lieu of a space, I'm putting in an underscore. And then in the numeric attribute properties, the minimum value is 0. The maximum value is 10 and the default is 0. And then click on add, and you can see that it adds the E by scene. And let's create several more. So this is the O by scene.
16 times namin gagawin.
That's right. So minimum 0, maximum 10, default 0. Click on add. Alright, and there's the B by scene. Minimum 0, maximum 10, default 0. Click on add. C. Okay.
Sir?
Yep.
Wala ka sir habang ginagawa niya na yan, tapos sir, di ba sir nag-animate na kayo ng kunwari, tapos may nakita kayong mali, pwede ka pala mag-paint ways.
Yes.
Pwede ka.
But you won't be able to go to bind pose. Okay. So if you can't go back to bind pose, that means you can't mirror skin weights. Alright. So I'm just going to do a few. I'm going to do the 3 by scenes mostly for speech so I can demonstrate how to animate it. So this is in place. All I have to do now is connect certain attributes with other attributes, and I'm going to do set driven key. So with this selected, I'm going to go to animate, set driven key, set attributes, which will pop out the set driven key window. So I'm going to load driver, and I need to be able to access the blend shapes. So I need to select the mesh, and then go to Window, Animation Editors, Blend Shape, click on Select. Alright, leave that window open and load driven. Okay, so the first thing that I want to link is the E by scene. So I'm going to select E by scene in the driver window under Master Head Control, and then in Driven, I'm going to select face blend shapes, and then which is the face blend shapes node that we actually made earlier, and then the E by scene. So in the blend shape window, I'm going to make sure that the E by scene is set to 0, and in Master Head Control, the E by scene is also set to 0. Then click on Key. Then we're going to change the attributes for both. So for the E by scene and blend shapes, we'll set it to 1, and in Master Head Control, we'll set the E by scene to 10. Alright, and then click on Key. Alright, so this means that if I change the value of E by scene, it will change the value of the E by scene in blend shapes. Alright. And we can continue the process. So let's go to blend shapes again. Alright. Set this back to 0. Okay, so let's choose the next one. O by scene here, O by scene here. So the O by scene is set to 0, and the O by scene here is set to 0 as well. And click on Key. Alright, and then set the O by scene to 10. And then the O by scene here needs to be set to its maximum, which is 1. And then click on Key. Alright?
Sir, hindi na kami pwede na magpa-10.
Yes, because we set the maximum value to 10. Okay, and you can check if it's working. So O by scene, if we move it around, should work. The E-by seam should work as well. Alright. Okay, so let's finish the last one. Okay. If you screw up, you might be thinking, what if I screw up? What if I didn't put in the exact values that I wanted to? How would I remove the set-driven key? So the way to remove it would be to go to Window, Animation Editors, and go to Graph Editor. Okay, and then select the channel that actually has your set-driven key and delete it from there. So in this case, I'll demonstrate. So I'm going to go to Blend Shape, click on Select, and go to Window, Animation Editors, Graph Editor. Alright, and this is my blend shape, this graph right here. So if I delete this thing, it'll actually get rid of the set-driven key. So if I delete that, set-driven key will vanish. I can also right mouse click here and break connections. That will also delete the set-driven key.
Iisa-isahin namin, sir.
If you want to delete a specific set-driven key. So let's redo it again just for the sake of repetition. So I'm going to select the mesh, deform, animate, set-driven key attributes. Okay, so load driver. In this case, it has to be my master head control load driver. E-by seam is in place. Okay, go to blend shape, click on select, and then load driven. So E-by seam to E-by seam in the driver and driven. Make sure the values are where you want them to be. So 0 for E-by seam in the blend shapes, 0 for E-by seam in the master head control. Then click on key. Alright, then change the value of the master head control E-by seam to 10. Okay, and set the blend shape to 1, and then click on key. So you're done. Let's get the next one. So in set-driven key, I'm going to select the O-by seam in driver, and in driven for face blend shapes, I'm going to set it to O-by seam as well. Make sure both values are set to 0, and then click on key. Alright, and you'll notice here that the value is changing to a melon color, which means a key has been set. So in master head control, I'm going to set the O-by seam to value 10. And in blend shapes, I'm going to set it to value 1 and then click on key. Alright, let's do the last one. So the B-by seam in master head control and driver, and the B-by seam in face blend shapes and driven. So make sure that they are set to 0, and then click on key, and then change the values. In B-by seam, it should be 1. In blend shapes and in the master head control, it's set to a value 10, and then click on key. Alright. And if you screw up, for example, hey, this isn't 1, you can click on key again. Alright, let's test it out if everything works. Okay, so let's set this to 0, set this to 0, let's set this to 0. So B-by seam should work, B. O-by seam works, E-by seam works. And to do the A-by seam, you just have to open them out slightly. Alright, and let's do a save. Okay, let's pause. Any questions so far? The whole process has been recorded to video. It's very fiddly, and you need to do them in the correct sequence. And you need to do them 16 times for all of the blend shapes. Okay, any questions? Okay, no questions. Okay, let's proceed to the last part.